Play with a controlled range and passion. A controlled range.
I had to learn how to work hard and just put it all out there, go all out. No one was going to outwork me, as I was always visualizing what I wanted to be.
Bullseye view. I'm the host with the most, baby. Podcasting for the masses, and I'm coming correct.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Bullseye View. I, of course, am the host with the most, Keith Bullock, and I got Titan royalty in the building, Mr. Eddie George. Coach Ed at the time, right now, he was just out there on the phone handling some business, but I appreciate you for stopping, taking your time,
Of course.
to stop through Bullseye View.
First of all, man, look, congratulations. I love the Bullseye View.
I'm trying.
Listen, we've had various talks through the years, and you've always had this vision of having a show of some type. Something like that, where it talks of music, it's culture, it's everything, and it's perfect. It's perfect. It's for you. Like
I
Bullseye
appreciate
View.
you.
Yes. So I'm excited about it. I had a chance to see it on social media, and Samari was great. Blaine was a good one.
Yup.
The one about Philly and how he's gonna take my head off. I was like, oh, really? Oh, I didn't hear that. Like,
Yeah.
Double B, like you didn't call me up and like you wanted to smoke. So I was hearing that now. So I'm like, oh, we can rewind that.
Well, you know what? It's good that
Yeah.
you know that we got you here to talk about. I remember a time that in practice, you know, you was ducking me one time. So you know, we can get into that.
Time out.
How do you remember this story?
I know, man. Who wasn't ducking nothing?
Nobody was
All I
ducking
remember is
nothing.
I know exactly the moment because I think it was we were going to the lake.
Yep.
He was going toward the lake, and I hit the outside. He was coming across. He was like, "What's up?"
Eye contact.
How you trying to deal with this? You want a thud? Or what we doing? I was like, "Hey, let's do it." Bang.
Yeah.
And it was a stalemate, and like rightfully so. But you know, that's the culture. You know, and again, like that's how we practice. We practice with that intention. Like, listen, we rock. Like when we put the pads on, we go. Now, there's some days where, like, if you hurt, I guess we're gonna brother-in-law, we're gonna get through it. But we still gotta get that work in.
That was a camp day. That was a camp day. I remember. So for me, man, you know, and I've told you before, like, you know, I played running back in high school. I was an all-state running back. I made the decision I'd rather give the hits, and I'm going to ask you about that. But that particular day, it was a camp day, and it's like, you know, you don't hit Eddie, but it's like one of those things. Like you said, you hit in the corner. Now, if I don't come through, I'm a bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Because you got film to watch. You got to be held accountable for what you put on film.
So I was like, yo, I know this motherfucker's not stopping. I know he's not stopping. So yeah, it was what it was.
Right.
And we got that off, tap on the helmet, and keep it moving. What was it about the running back position, man, coming up that made you want to play running back?
Well, you know what, Bull? It was like growing up in Philly and just the outskirts, like where my father was. He took me to a lot of high school games and little league games, like Upper Dublin and Abington, and how he always talked about running backs. You know, it was like whether it was Walter Payton or Earl Campbell, Jim Brown. You know, my father always loved running backs because he was a running back. So I was like, yo, I want my dad to talk about me how he talks about Jim Brown.
Word.
So I would go out in the yard and I had this Redskin helmet that I had on, right? And I put the Redskin helmet on and I put like these towels in my shoulders, you know, to make shoulder pads, go out in the backyard and I'm just making moves on air, you know, and that's how it initially started. And then through the years, as I got into the game, my mom allowed me to play ball. Finally, when I was in the 7th grade, I had to play running back. So they put me on the offensive line, and I was pissed. First day, I'm like, nah. like this ain't.
I was a tight end my first.
Hey, what is no. You got these dudes running the ball? I said, oh, okay. So I played along, you know, just to get on the field. But after a while, they wised up, put me in the backfield, and it was love. It's something about, man, like, you know, when you tote the rock, especially back when I grew up in the 80s, you had some dogs.
Yeah.
That's the run. The offenses ran through the running backs.
It was a running league. It was
Period.
a running league.
It was Emmett. It was Barry. It was Billy Sims. It was Earl Campbell, Walter Payton,
Eric Dickerson, Roger Craig,
Tony Dorsett.
All of them, yeah.
You know, it goes on and on. So that was a running backs league, and that's what I wanted to do. And there's something about imposing your will. You talk about taking hits. Nah, you delivering.
Yeah.
You in control, like you have the ball. So guess what? I'm going to pick one of y'all, and I'm going to deliver the business, and you got to corral against me. So, but that's how I looked at it. I learned that from Walter Payton. You know, he has this book called Never Die Easy.
Yeah.
And I watched this documentary on all running backs, from Hugh McElhaney to Walter Payton.
Historian.
To O.J. Simpson, Motley.
Yeah.
You know, and I would study these guys and just watch them. And I was like, man, if I could blend in the power, speed, agility, you know, that's what I wanted to do. So I studied all of them. And then my love of just running the football was always there. Now, as I grew throughout high school, I was at first when my junior year, I was like maybe 6 foot, 178 pounds, nice. 68, soaking wet. And then I stretched out. And I started to fill out. And it was like, yo, we'll put you in the put the hair in the dirt. Like, you know, defensive end, outside linebacker. And I was like, nah, because if I do that really well, they're not going to see me as a running back. So I did everything I could not to play defense. I wanted to play running back.
So as a teammate, one thing that I always, that always stuck out to me, man, was your grind, your work ethic. Like you always practiced. When I was at Syracuse, Marvin Harrison first stuck out to me. He's all the way he practiced. So that was always big. But then to get to the league, to see you being out there on Monday to get your legs stretched back out, being out there on Wednesday for your inside run, Thursday for your blitz pickup, and to do it every week, it says a lot. Did that start at Fort Union, or did you develop that in Ohio State?
Nah, everything started at Fort Union, every last bit of it. Down to how you wake up in the morning. Hospital corners, you have to make your bed before you go eat. You gotta spit shine your shoes. You had to wax and buff the floors. Everything had to look like glass. Everything was regimented and on point, and it was intentional. So I had to learn that first, and then, I would miss workouts. I mean, I would miss meals just to get my workouts in. So I had to learn how to work hard and just put it all out there, go all out. So that's where I was said, no one was going to outwork me. So on the days like I used to listen to Know the Ledge by Rakim.
Standing on shaky ground, too close to the edge. Let's see if I know the ledge.
In my headphones and just run, for around the track for a couple miles, and I would just continually hear it, just see it, as I was always visualizing, what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do and what I wanted to accomplish. So it was a weird thing I had.
That's that song right there.
That was on repeat.
Peak the juice. I got enough to go around.
I get goosebumps.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was the mindset.
Yeah.
And I had cut out all the top running backs in college football, and I put them on my chest, taped them out, cut them up, and I left it open so I could look at it every day. And dudes was like, yo, you weird, man. Why you cutting out these? I said, it's my competition. And I had this formula. It says not greater than or less than, not equal to or less than, but greater than. And that's all I just focused on, just to continue to work on that. So, man, I was just stuck in the grind, man. And I've always loved just working and seeing the process of that.
You can't cheat the grind. There's levels to this, man. There's levels to it that people that don't do it don't realize and recognize. And we do our research here on Bullseye View. Yeah. Something I never knew. As a freshman, you was booed. That's a crazy humbling experience. Yeah. How'd you rebound from that, man?
Oh, man. So here it go. Here we go. Get to Ohio State, and the backfield's full. Robert Smith just came back off.
Beast.
So they all was in the league. So my thing was, let's put the ball in the dirt and let's play. Yeah, I'm gonna find a role.
Billy Badass.
I'm gonna find a role. So went to the spring ball. You know, I was just trying to run dudes over and made a name for myself. So they put me in the goal line, and was goal line running back. Actually had my first touchdown against Bowling Green.
Okay.
Went over the top, right? And then the next week it was Syracuse.
Come on, man. Relax, bro.
Nah. This is when they had that squad, right?
Okay.
When they had Marvin Graves. They had the Rocket, Ishmael.
Okay, yeah. And Kevin Mitchell.
The dudes.
Dan Conley. Yeah,
yes,
okay, for sure.
Yes. And the dome was packed. It was full. It was on a Saturday. It was the game of the week. So we was picked to lose big against this team, you know. So we go up there, and Robert had banged up his ribs, so it's Raymond and Butler that's getting the lion's share. So they doing their thing. They get to kick the ball off. He march the ball down the field. We get down the 2-yard line, and I'm thinking I'm not gonna get in. I'm just watching, like, yo, this is cool. It's loud, right? Yo,
It's cool.
And Coop was like, yo, get in there. Like, what? Get in there. So I hustle out there. I'm like, oh shit, like it's national television, right? And I put my helmet on. I'm like, whatever moves, hit it. That's it. I don't give a damn who it is. So bust up through there, scored my first touchdown, man. It was on. I was scoring 3 touchdowns that night. Blew them boys out, and I was touchdown Eddie. You know, it was love. Yo, I get back to campus, boy. I went from funny looking to being fine. You know, everybody.
Big man on campus.
Big man on campus. Back in the day, you had the half shirt, right?
Half shirt. Yeah.
Right. So I feeling myself a little bit. Play against Illinois, and Illinois back then was the second biggest rival next to their team up north in terms of being in the Big Ten. And they had a ferocious defense. Like Dana Howard, Halachek, Simeon,
Rice
Kevin Hardy. They were all babies.
Yeah.
So their front seven was not playing.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was not playing. So again, march the ball down the field, get to the 1-yard line. I go out there. I fumbled. They picked it up, ran back 97 yards for a touchdown. And I'm like, ooh, okay. Adversity, like real adversity. And you talk about Ohio State fans are rabid fans. They boom.
Right.
So I got to go redeem myself. Next drive, put me back in there, take a pitch, go to the outside, hit it up in there, ran over a safety, cleaned his clock, bang, go in there. I'm like, hot, bang, okay, I'm back. All right, game still going on. It's tight, going back and forth. Final drive, this is for the game-winning touchdown. And I can solidify everything, shut the noise down. Go out there, take the toss. Next step I take, I get hit in the back, ball comes out. Game over, fumbled twice, lost the game. And then you could say, yeah, it was a team loss and all that. Nah, it was evident why we
You lost the game.
I lost the game. And, man, you talk about devastated. So I go from, think about my journey at that point. From Philly, didn't start, had to grind, found my way to Ohio State, hustled, got my way on the field, national televised game, 3 touchdowns, now boom.
Tricked it off.
And there, hey, you do that, you're done. They got somebody else stable. So I had a chance to leave. I could have left. I went in the tank. I was, feeling sorry for myself. But then I said, look, I can either run from this and I continue to run from it, or I can dig my cleats in the dirt and face it. And that's, again, I doubled down on my work ethic. Nobody was going to outwork me. The one thing I take great pride in at Ohio State is the fact that because we were around so many great athletes, our strength and conditioning program was top notch. Like you had guys like Joey Galloway, you had some
Sean Springs,
so you had some dudes, Dan Wilkinson,
Orlando
Corey
Price.
Yeah, 2 first overall picks in the draft. All right, so I was the only 2-time weightlifter of the year.
Okay,
according to Dave Kennedy in that group. That's voted on by your teammates, everybody. So I had put in the work. So I had to overcome that.
Like weightlift, like
everything. So everything. So from your lunges to like how much you lunge, your squat, You can't clean.
I saw
bench
that
press.
in the NFL. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
saw
that
that
was
in the NFL for
yeah.
sure.
Dudes would go to the board and look at who was the fastest that day, who was running the fastest 10 times, all of that, man. So I took great pride in that. So I had to learn how to grind through that phase through adversity because I was on Front Street with that, and people in the media was like, "Yo, he's the worst running back to ever come through Ohio State."
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So now being a head coach, how is it being, instead of the leader of your team, the mentor of young men? And, you know, I'm sure a lot of those young men have goals and aspirations to make it to the next level, but it's not necessarily realistic if you boil it down because not many get that opportunity. So how do you navigate these waters being the head coach of Bowling Green?
Well,
and dealing with NIL when cats need money to come play.
I'm all for that. Like, listen, it's a headache, you know, but I've always been an advocate for players being able to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness. I've always been that. I think there's enough space to do it. I think they have to put boundaries and rails on this thing and really make it like the NFL. If you're going to do it, you got to do it. It's a business. Okay, it's pay for play. Now make them sign contracts. You know, you can't just jump in the portal. You know, if you decide to jump in the portal, guess what? There's a cost of that.
Right.
And if a team poaches my best player from a Power 4 school, so okay, what's the trade?
Right.
You know, you paying $250? Okay, good. Give me $250 plus a couple scholarships so I can go out and replace that. You know what I mean? So let's make it transparent. I think there needs to be a commissioner. I think there needs to be a CBA. I think it needs to be one big TV contract just for all of college football, not just the Big Ten. So that's where I think this thing can go. But navigating the waters, Bull, listen, I'm cut from a different cloth when it comes to how we build things. I'm not about coddling dudes. I mean, there's a place, a time for it, but it's about the work.
Yeah, I mean, look, you went to college, Ohio State. Then you go from doing all the things that you were doing, you know, architecture, acting, you know, DJing, living your life.
Living my life.
To coaching at TSU, Tennessee State University, getting that experience pretty much off the street, and you navigated that, made OVC conference champs.
Yep.
Then you get the opportunity.
Coach of the year.
Coach of the year, my bad. And then you get the opportunity at Bowling Green. So with resources, you can do you could do more. And I feel personally, you know, going even down to see Alabama State see Eddie Robinson Jr. down there, you know, resources really make a difference. And coming from the HBCU, they're not always afforded like the other conferences.
Right. It's a grind. Like, it really is. You're getting it from the mud, like people say.
Yeah.
And it's a benefit to that, but it's also it can be disheartening to some degree because it's like, man, we got to get over the hump. Okay, yeah, we can get it from the grind, but at some point we got to grow.
Right.
We got to invest. We got to have commitments. And unfortunately, you know, where Tennessee State is at, it's just not there yet. So I had to learn how to get our kids prepared to the game.
Right.
You know, like making sure that we got white lines on the chalk on the field at practice.
Yep.
Making sure there are no holes out there, making sure they're getting their meals and eating
like
right.
Things the head coach doesn't need to be worried about before you even get to the script of the day for the game plan.
Just getting the game day. That's a challenge, and it's a real thing. And there's no disrespect. I'm just giving my experience. So, and I'm glad I went through it because I had to.
I'm glad I got to see it, and that's why I put a lot of respect on the HBCUs and the kids that go through that and get that grind. And then I go up to other schools and they're complaining and they got great facilities.
It's just like what?
Yeah,
you know, you eating 3 times a day. Okay,
exactly.
Yeah, right. But it puts it in perspective. So it keeps me humble. Now that I am at Bowling Green, resources, buildings, and facilities, all that is great. But it comes down to when you get in between the white lines, who are you?
Right.
and it's all about culture to me. Not just a bunch of sayings on the wall and your acronyms and sounding cool for coaching. No. It's man to man, soul to soul. I'm going to keep you accountable to what we're going to be doing every single day. And that's to mold your character, 1, 2, making sure that you're aligned with the culture. Like, stuff that we just do off the top that hey, shit's going to be hard. It's supposed to be. I want you to be uncomfortable. Because when I make you uncomfortable, when we're in a real game, and it's going to be easier.
Because you've been there before.
Because you've been there. And you know what life is like. If you miss an assignment or miss an appointment with your academic advisor, there's a penalty. There is a preparation period for that. I don't believe in punishment. I believe in preparation. So I'm preparing you, giving you the discipline, the focus, the habits that's going to allow you to maximize your opportunities. Because that's how I've been built, through everything. After I finished playing football, got my NBA, got my businesses, did the acting. All of that required a certain discipline and a work ethic. And that can bleed that now into my coaching philosophy, and that's not going to change. So it doesn't matter what logo's on it. It could be the Titan logo, Bowling Green logo. It can be the Dallas Cowboy logo. It can be Tennessee State logo. The essence is always going to be the same. We're going to be fast, physical, and disciplined.
1,000%.
Not unapologetic. And if you can beat me doing that, tip of the hat to you. You know what I'm saying? If we're not going to out scheme you and I'm not going to out trick you, you know what it is. It's going to be our training versus your training. Let's play ball.
That's the mentality.
Yes.
So, what was that Heisman Trophy year like,
But
man?
first of all, let me tell you something, man. Like the 90s, like that 94, 93, 94, 95. We talk about.
That was watching, bro. You was my favorite running back.
Yeah, but let's just talk about the era.
Tyrone,
backs, but football, basketball, music.
Oh, the 90s was the best.
Oh my gosh.
The 90s was the best.
That was
the 90s was the best.
Period. You had what, in one period, like you had 5 or 6 albums that dropped.
You had Tupac, you had Biggie.
All in the same time.
You had some R&B joints, you had Nas.
But
you had Wu-Tang.
You had Black Moon, you had Smith & Wesson, you got
Guru.
Mobb Deep.
Deep.
You had some foundational stuff. But anyway, in 94, we lost to Penn State real bad. Penn State was number 1 in the country. We walked up in the state college. We was at homecoming game. We felt some type of way. Said, we're going to rock some black socks. We're going to forget the coaches. We're going to do what tyrants do. We're going to rock black socks. We're going to show these boys, okay, we're going to go out here and show the number 1 team in the country what we're about. So we go out there in our black socks and laid an egg, lost 63-14.
Damn.
Yes. And it was a long flight home. State college back. So right after that, Coach Coop was like, listen, do not jump in your cars. Take your ass right into the team meeting room at 3 o'clock in the morning. And he lit into us. And I was
y'all went
devastated.
out there with black socks. Y'all didn't tell the coach?
No.
Oh, damn. Y'all hard.
We didn't tell the coach. We decided we was going to do it and got destroyed. And at that moment, we had to decide on who we were going to be as a team and stop being individuals and get in line with the culture and be coachable and not run amok. So we looked at their team. They had Kajana Carter. They had Kerry Collins. They had Brady at the tight end. They had a bevy of running backs, Ingram, Freddie Scott. And they had a prolific offense. Yeah. And it was like, wow, you can't stop anybody. Kajana that day against us had about 178 yards or 80 yards, and the White Pants were still clean. Not one grass stain on him.
He was hitting his head on the goal post.
Oh, man, it was like he was running it was like 7-on-7. Like, it was crazy. But we learned a valuable lesson, like, okay, what do they have that we don't have? We got a Q, we got an O-line, we got a tight end, Ricky Dudley, we got Terry Glenn on the outside. I'm the running back, Pepe Pearson, all these dudes. I'm like, we got to work. So we dedicated that entire spring and summer to getting to being Big Ten champions. And my focus was never on winning the Heisman. I figured that if I was on the best team, it's going to be because of me that we're going to be in this position. That's my mentality. So we all worked really hard that summer, and I looked at our schedule, and we had some games on there where we could make some national attention. So my goals were, hey, let's win the Big Ten. I'm on a rush for X amount of yards, have so many touchdowns, put my goals up there. And I said, if I can accomplish these goals, we'll see what happens. That was a dark horse. I was nobody's list to win the Heisman. So we go up to New York. We play BC, beat them. I was the MVP, and we stayed in New York just to go to Wall Street, to the Statue of Liberty, and we went down to the Downtown Athletic Club, where the home of the Heisman
joint is.
Yeah, that was the home. Like, you walk in there, and it's an oak paneled room with all the oiled portraits of Heisman Trophy winners: Herschel Walker, Archie Griffin, Bo Jackson, Roger Staubach. I mean, you could feel just the energy, the rich energy in that room. And I was like, ooh, this is different. And then we all took a picture by the Heisman and then left. I stayed behind. And just me, I said, yo, I'll be back for you. Right? And, it just kind of happened, man. It was a team award because we had dudes on the defense that we were grinding against, like you mentioned, Sean Springs, but Mike Vrabel was on the D-line. He was a dog. And you had Luke Fickell was a dog. And you had some linebackers that we was trading blows, iron sharpens iron. And we put together a great year, and I was blessed enough to win it. And ironically enough, the game that sealed the deal was against Illinois, my nemesis. And that's when they had Kevin Hardy and Simeon Rice, that whole crew, #1 ranked defense against the run of the country. Terry Glenn was out with the injury, so we couldn't stretch the field, and it was snowing sideways.
Damn.
In the stage. So what kind of game do you think that was, Bull? In terms of, when you
we're
look at
going downhill, 9 on 7.
9 on 7.
9 on 7.
So you know what's coming.
Yeah.
All right, so I had 314 yards in 3 quarters against that defense in those conditions. It wasn't.
It was ugly for them.
It was, yeah.
Because I know as a defender, anytime you can't stop the run, it's a long ass day.
It's a long day.
And you are 6'3", 240 coming downhill. That's a long ass day. So then the rest is history. You brought it home. I always remember the infamous picture, the Notre Dame game. Obviously, when you had the whole team chasing you. You talk about that '90s era. I graduated high school in '95, so I've always told you, you were one of my favorite backs. Cause I was a tall running back. Who to like? Eddie George. And to see you keep that momentum, getting drafted to Houston, being rookie of the year, and having you went from carrying one team to being the focal point to carrying another team in the Houston Oilers. And unfortunately, we're going to get to that one in part 2 when you come back to the studio. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, we got a lot to cover.
We do.
Because this is
I
important.
appreciate you just making the time to come through to give this portion.
I will always be there for you, man, because like when you came in the league, you was a baby. Highly touted. I watched you at Syracuse. You went from being a safety, dog at safety, and worked your levels down, and you became the grind. And we can, I appreciate your work. So to watch you come in, and you had to be humbled because you felt like you were the best dude on the field, which you probably were. But
the freak was there. Maybe he was.
But that was your mentality, though. Yeah. And you had to go through, hey, you got to get on special. You got to earn your right. You got to get on special teams. I ain't special teams. I'm not doing it. It's like, boy, you got to play, man. You got to decide you're going to get on the field. But just to watch how you've taken the torch from Steve and me and built what you had to build when we left was awesome to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that.
So this organization, our time can't be rushed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's special. And I love the organization. I love the city. I see how it's growing and what this organization is meant for this city and our success early on. I think we owe a really good conversation with that. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
even if I got to Zoom, I'll Zoom. I'll make time to come back down and do it for sure.
I'm not worried about it. Let's one more thing, man. You had a comment in some publication earlier in the year when you commented on the Titans and all of that. And I was like, Eddie didn't say that shit. But then, and then however that came out, whatever it was, where do you feel they are now, and what do they need to do to get on track?
Honestly, I haven't watched a whole lot now that I have my own stuff going on. But when I do watch, I watched the game yesterday. Jeffrey Simmons is a grown man.
Yeah, he is.
All right. First of all, I appreciate his effort and energy given the circumstances, because how he came in the league and what he stands for. Love him. He is a dog through and through. They got pieces. They got the pillars are there. Now they just got to get leadership. Okay, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be real. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's got to be a shared vision, a clear vision from our owner, Amy Adams Strunk, what she wants, to win a championship and have sustainability. And that has to be carried throughout the rest of the organization. And it has to be a locker room that's player-led.
Yeah.
And what I don't see enough of is the culture piece.
There's no football people in the building.
Yeah,
there's no.
I can't. I don't know who's in there. I don't know.
Anytime I go through that, I don't see anybody that I don't even have to recognize them. That besides Mike Borgonzi, it's like real football people.
Yeah, but I can't speak to it. I don't know. But what I see, the product on the field is inconsistent, because that's where they are right now. Now they got to build that out, and there's it's simple, like you hit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's an identity. Like Baltimore has an identity.
You keep saying culture.
Right.
That's big. Culture is big.
Like Pittsburgh.
Culture.
Regardless, they have a blueprint in terms of who they're going to draft, how they're going to be going. Blue collar, they're going to be built to stop the run and run the ball in some capacity. Yeah. Get a quarterback that's going to grind it out. And to some degree, that was our identity. We wasn't as fancy. Like we'll beat your ass.
That's how Vrabel did it too.
We'll beat you up 6-3.
Yeah.
And then guess what? Over time, it becomes 45 and 38-6 because
we like 9-6. We like 9-6.
Right. We were comfortable with that.
Exactly.
Very comfortable. And that's how you learn to win and ball control and identity. And when people played us, it was like, one thing you better do with Tennessee, you better strap it up.
Strap that
you
shit
better
up.
Put both
Come
of
out
them
here
on.
bullshitting if you want to.
And it's going to go for 4 quarters plus.
Yes.
Because they built different. It was a different mindset. It's a mindset. It ain't about scheme. It's not about, how many points we can put up and how cute it looks. Nah. It's about imposing your will, especially in the fourth quarter. When it matters the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it. They'll get it right. They got a beautiful stadium going up.
You know that. I'm going to be up in there.
Yes. But she'll figure it out. They will figure it out. I think they got the people in the building to do it. I love Cam Ward. I think they got to get a tight end to help them out. The run game's got to get better. I think they got to get a horse or two at the run game. Stable and take the pressure off of him, because the blueprint is there.
Right.
So that's what I believe, man.
Well, I appreciate you coming through.
Man, appreciate you having me, man.
You got to get back up to Bowling Green.
I got to get the shirt, dog.
I got you,
yes,
brother.
You got to get one, man. Yes,
I got
sir.
you. The Tennessee Tyrants. I have to tell that story one day.
No doubt.
Just a reminder, subscribe to us on YouTube. Help us get in the mix in 2026, because we ain't going nowhere, baby.